A lot of people assume that retirement just gets better once you have more money. Now, no joking, money certainly does help. But after working with pre retirees and retirees over 20 years, I've noticed something interesting. Some people retire with $500,000 and feel very financially free, while others retire with $3 million and still feel very financially trapped. So, what's the difference? It's not always about the account balance. Most of the time, it's the habits they keep as they carry those into retirement. Because retirement satisfaction isn't only shaped by what you have, it's also shaped by what you're doing and what you continue to do in your retirement years. So, in this video, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of 7 things to stop doing after the age of 55 if you want retirement to feel less stressful, more meaningful, and much easier to enjoy. I'm Chris Knight with Cornerstone Wealth Planning. If you're between ages 55 and 70, this is the stage where small decisions can have a major impact on how retirement feels later on. And if you'd like help building a coordinated retirement plan around your income, your taxes, your Social Security planning, investments, healthcare, and estate planning, real simple, there's a link in the description where you can schedule a complimentary call with our team. Okay, let's start with the first one. Number 1, let's stop saving blindly without knowing your retirement number. Now, this might sound strange coming from a financial planner, but after age 55, saving more isn't always the answer. Here's what often happens. Someone spends 30 or 40 years building wealth. They've conditioned themselves to save, delay gratification, and just keep pushing and pushing. And even when they may have enough to retire comfortably, they keep working because they don't know if they have enough. It's not because they actually need more money, it's because they lack clarity. And I've seen people delay retirement 3, 4, even 5 years longer than necessary simply because no one ever helped them connect the dots to know their retirement number and when they could truly retire. So this is one of the first things we do at Cornerstone Wealth Planning. We help you build a retirement snapshot. We look at what you own, what you owe, what's coming in, what's going out. This helps us do a calculation called your income gap. And that's the difference between your expenses and your guaranteed income sources. Now, from there, we compare that gap to your liquid assets. And suddenly, retirement becomes less about guessing and more about understanding your key numbers. Because when people see the picture clearly, they often realize they're closer than maybe they thought, and potentially on the other side, maybe need to save or work a little bit longer. But often we can see that it's when people realize they're closer than they thought they were towards their goal of retirement. Either way, this clarity is better than simply guessing. So this takes us to number 2, which is to stop ignoring tax planning. A lot of people spend decades thinking about the investment returns, the markets, but they spend very little time thinking about taxes today and proactively for the future. And that is where this can become a problem in retirement. So the amount you keep is ultimately more important than the amount that you actually withdraw. So imagine just for a moment 2 retirees both taking $80,000 per year from their portfolios. Now, one keeps more of that money because withdrawals are coordinated across taxable accounts. In their retirement accounts, they also have Roth accounts, and they account for Social Security. Now, the other pays thousands more in taxes every year because there's no clear tax strategy of where to get that income. So they have the same income need, but they end up with very different tax results. Surprising part is that some of the best tax planning opportunities happen before retirement or during those first few years after retirement. And that's often when strategies like Roth conversions, capital gain management, charitable giving strategies, and even just Social Security timing can really create real clear, tangible value. Now, the catch is this, though, that these opportunities, they simply don't stay open forever. And so what I mean is that you'll eventually have things like required minimum distributions beginning, usually in your mid-70s. You'll have your Social Security turned on at some point. And once these income levels change, some of these strategies really become harder to use. So that's why tax planning shouldn't be something you think about once and simply forget. It should be built into your retirement plan year after year. So think about retirement income, the taxes around that, Social Security timing, healthcare costs, and your investment withdrawals, and understanding how they're coordinated and how all that affects each other. And once those pieces aren't coordinated, it's real easy to lose money unnecessarily. Brings us to number 3. Let's stop delaying very important health decisions. So here's a question I'd like for you to sit with for just a moment. What's the point of building wealth if your health prevents you from enjoying it? Now, this is one of the harder lessons for retirees to often learn. A lot of people spend years optimizing their finances while they postpone making healthy and good and important health decisions. They put off the checkup, they ignore the symptoms, they delay the procedure, they may avoid the lifestyle changes. So they often tell themselves that they'll deal with these things later when they have more time. And we see it too often. Then retirement arrives. They finally have the time, but not always the ability to enjoy it the way that they had imagined. I've had many conversations with retirees over the years who've had said some version of either I'd wish I'd focused on my health earlier or I wish I would have done things sooner. I've never had anyone say I wish I'd spent more time staring at my account balance. So after 55, health is not separate, and maybe even before 55, health is not separate from retirement planning. It's all a part of retirement planning. So your ability to travel and to enjoy a sport you like to play, such as golf or pickleball, or to spend time with your grandkids, volunteer, maybe hiking, exploring, or just simply enjoying the daily life items that are so important and integral to the things you want to do. These are all heavily dependent on your health. Now, money gives you options, but good health helps you use them. So if there's a health decision you've been postponing, this is certainly the time to focus and deal with it. All right, bring us to number 4. Let's stop treating retirement like one financial event. So retirement isn't just a money transition. It is really an identity transition. So think about retirement in your 60s likely. This takes you for decades now in which your life will be different. Your life so far has had structure. You've had routines. You've had work deadlines. You've had a lot of responsibilities. People who depend on you. You have a reason to get up and get moving and to do something for that day. And one day, the structure changes. Now, ultimately, what you want to look at is to look at retiring not just from something, but to something. The happiest retirees that I meet don't just have income plans, they have long-term life plans, things that they want to do with others, and to enjoy. They have some idea of how they want to spend their time and what they want to give their time and purpose to. And that's also with who. So they want to know who they want to spend that time with, and ultimately what they'll keep doing day to day that gives them purpose. So retirement shouldn't be just 30 years of either nothing or staying too busy. It should be a chapter that you've intentionally designed. So before you retire, here's a few questions you can ask yourself. What would make my life meaningful on a Tuesday morning if I wasn't going to work? Maybe it's not always vacation. Maybe it's not doing something specific for the first few weeks when retirement still feels new, but a normal Tuesday morning in the future. Now, if you don't have that answer yet, then it's worth exploring before you submit your retirement paperwork, because financial readiness is only one part of that transition into retirement. Life readiness, purpose, what matters to you is ultimately what needs to be known before you go into retirement. If you'd like help figuring this out, and if you're truly ready to retire, not just financially, but also thinking about these types of questions, and there's a link below where you can schedule a call with our team. Okay, let's keep going. And so we'll look at number 5. So let's stop waiting for that perfect time to spend some money. Now, this one can be surprisingly emotional. Many retirees spend their entire lives being responsible. You've saved, you've planned, you've accumulated, you've prepared, then retirement arrives. And it really is difficult to shift gears. They become afraid to spend, even when the plan says they can certainly afford it. Maybe you've seen this, maybe you felt this yourself. You have plenty of assets. On paper, the plan works. On paper, the income looks sustainable. But every purchase creates anxiety. Every trip feels like it's too much. Every experience feels like a threat to your future. Now, the irony is this, is that some retirees end up with way more money at age 85, at maybe the end of retirement, than they had at the beginning at age 65, because they never gave themselves permission to enjoy what they had built. So money is really, truly a tool. It's not a scoreboard. The purpose of retirement planning is not to die with the largest account balance possible. The purpose is to use your resources that you've worked so diligently to save to support that retirement life that you actually want to live. Now, at the same time, doesn't mean to spend carelessly and to ignore risk or to pretend that your future is guaranteed. But sometimes the biggest financial risk is not spending too much, but it's really never allowing yourself to spend enough on the experiences, the people, and the priorities that matter most. So this is exactly why we focus on integrated retirement planning with our clients. Your investments are very important, but so are your taxes, your Social Security decisions, your healthcare planning, your retirement income, your estate planning, and your purpose and desires in retirement. So the real value comes from connecting all these pieces, connecting these dots together so you can understand what's possible for you in your retirement. All right, brings us to number 6. Let's stop keeping the financial clutter in our lives. This could be something that looks like the old storage closet. Got lots of things just shoved in there. Old 401ks, forgotten IRAs. You got some old brokerage accounts. You got some unused insurance policies. You got scattered bank accounts you can't keep track of, credit cards you haven't used in 10 years, and investments that were purchased years ago that may not fit your plan any longer. And each item may seem small, but together they create complexity. And complexity tends to become more frustrating as you go forward into retirement. Every extra account creates another login. You got to get the statement. You got to look at the beneficiary designations. You got to look for your tax documents. You have to do your required distributions correctly. And all these just create more and more decisions. So the goal isn't to own more accounts, but it's to create clarity. Often, simpler may feel better. It may reduce mistakes, make the income planning and tax planning easier. And it could be simpler just to make your life easier for your spouse or a family member or the executor of your estate if you were to pass away at some point here. So ask yourself a couple key questions. Someone else had to come into this financial picture tomorrow to help out. Do they know where everything is? Is it easy to understand? Will they know what each account is actually set up to do? Will they know who to call? Will they know what to do if I couldn't answer certain questions? If that answer is no, then simplification may be one of the highest return projects that you can work on and tackle this year. It would likely create less stress, fewer loose ends, more confidence, more peace of mind for you and your family. So finally, there's number 7. Let's stop assuming that more time is guaranteed. Now, this is a big one, and it's also often the hardest one. A lot of people live as if life will start someday. This will start after the next promotion. We'll do it after the next bonus. We'll get through until the next market cycle. We'll wait until the next milestone. We'll wait until we retire. And here's the catch. Eventually, someday arrives. Sometimes it's later than expected, or worse, someday never arrives. Now, one of the greatest risks in retirement isn't just running out of money, but it could be running out of those healthy years. Nobody knows exactly how much time that we have, and that means that there's real value in creating meaningful experiences while you're healthy enough to enjoy them. Take the trip to Italy, visit the family, pursue the hobby, volunteer where you would like, create memories with your family, and spend intentional time with the people that you love. Because retirement isn't simply about preserving assets. is about creating a life worth remembering. People who enjoy retirement the most tend to understand this very important balance. They balance prudence with purpose, planning with living, and security with enjoyment. They don't ignore the numbers, but they don't let the numbers become the entire point of retirement either. So if you want retirement to feel better after age 55, then just to recap, here's some key things to start doing today. Stop saving blindly without knowing your retirement number. Stop ignoring tax planning that may need to be done now. Stop delaying important health decisions to ensure you can enjoy retirement. Stop treating retirement as just one quick financial event that occurs and then is over. It'll be decades. Stop waiting for that perfect time to spend some money. Stop keeping unnecessary financial clutter. And lastly, stop assuming that more time is guaranteed. Simply retiring isn't the goal. The goal is to retire with clarity, confidence, and peace of mind. So you know where retirement income is coming from, meaning that you understand your tax strategy, meaning you can create a plan for your health, your family, your lifestyle, and your legacy. And you can enjoy the life that you spent decades building and working so hard towards. So if you'd like help putting these pieces together, then please click the link in the description now and schedule a free call with our team. We'll help you connect the dots so you can move into retirement with greater confidence and peace of mind, so you don't just reach retirement, but you truly enjoy retirement and you truly feel ready to progress into the next phase of life. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.